Let's talk audio interface. An audio interface is a device that is designed to allow input and output of audio from a personal computer running audio software. Audio interfaces connect to the computer using FireWire or USB protocols, or using a dedicated expansion card that installs in a slot in the computer. Some of the features you'll find in these audio interfaces, although not all features are found on all interfaces, are mic-level audio inputs, line-level audio inputs, instrument-level audio inputs, line-level audio outputs, SPDIF format optical or coaxial inputs and outputs, AES EBU format digital input and outputs, ADAT optical format 8-channel input and output, studio monitor control features such as mute, dim, volume control, speaker switching, headphone outputs with volume controls, MIDI input and output, built-in DSP for low latency cue mixing, built-in DSP for effects such as reverb or delay while tracking. That's a lot of stuff, but let's break it down to find out what you really need to get started. Inputs and outputs. You need a way to connect an input to record, and this should be a mic input with phantom power and maybe a 1/4-inch line level input. Then you need outputs, at least 2 for right and left, and probably a headphone output. Lastly, you'll need a way to connect this with the computer, and this will probably be in the form of USB or FireWire. The number of inputs and outputs is only limited by your budget. I chose my audio interface back in 2004, and because I wanted to record drums, I figured I would need at least 8 inputs. Practically, I have only ever used it to record multiple tracks a few times, because as drum plugins improved, I didn't really need to record my own drums anymore. For the last 6 years, I have basically only used 2 inputs, one for a mic input and the other for my Line 6 guitar pedal. Pricing for inputs and outputs, which is basically the thing that you pay for, hasn't really changed all that much in the last several years, but I'm sure that quality, latency, and noise performance definitely has been improved. There are also some standalone digital audio recorders out there. I use a Tascam DR100 for recording audio when I'm doing video production, and it works well. This unit has 2 XLR inputs with phantom power, line level inputs, headphone and line level outputs, and it has 2 sets of stereo microphones built in, an omnidirectional set and a unidirectional set in an XY pattern. It runs on batteries and records to SD memory cards. There are many other devices out there that have more features, more inputs, more outputs, and are available at all different price points. Now, at some point in the recording process, you will need to hear what you have recorded, and this brings us to headphone and studio monitors. Studio monitors are special speakers designed to give you a very precise, uncolored reproduction of sound. You will almost certainly need headphones and studio monitors because you will want to monitor the audio as you record it. And you can't do this with studio monitors unless you are in a separate room, and it is acoustically isolated from where you are recording. Otherwise, you will get bleed from the speakers into the microphone, or worse, feedback, which can destroy speakers and your hearing. Headphones also allow you and your talent to hear what is going on while recording, and this is important. Studio monitors range from out-of-this-world expensive to budget bargain basement. Select something that fits your budget, but this is not a place to skimp or cheap out. Most studio monitors are fairly small, but you should consider getting something with at least an 8-inch speaker or larger. Otherwise, you won't have an accurate representation of low frequencies. If you get a smaller speaker system, you could also augment the low frequency with a subwoofer, but you may want to find a set that is designed to go together. Headphones are probably a little less critical, and you can definitely get some great sounding headphones for cheap. What may be more important is how comfortable they are. You could be wearing them for extended periods of time, and they can get really uncomfortable on the ears. The last component, besides the computer, is software. The software handles the recording and the processing of audio files. There are many applications out there, such as Studio One, Sonar, Reason, Pro Tools, Logic, GarageBand, and more. Some apps are PC or Mac only, but the one I like best is Reaper. Reaper is a powerhouse of an application, supports just about any hardware, uses nearly every kind of plugin, is consistently updated, the install file is very small, and it's cheap. In the next section, we're going to take a look at what's inside of Reaper. You'll find a lot of the controls and functions are the same throughout a range of applications. But let's jump in and find out more.